Good morning all. Paul from CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Tuesday morning, August 5th. We're looking at Window Trader's market profile of the ES and NQ. So, shows you how the daily can swiftly change, right? We went from balance on Thursday to down on Friday, back to balance on Monday, and now potentially up on Tuesday. Right? So the emotional movement inside of the daily continues, which means our weekly balance is going to be really important. Our weekly balance high is the all-time high. Okay? Our weekly balance low for both ES and NQ are the lows from the week of June 30th. So this indecision inside the daily at some point hopefully will come to some kind of completion if and when we take out the weekly balance high or low. Take out the balance high, obviously it's all-time highs on the weekly, on everything. If you take out the weekly balance lows, well, then we might keep those all-time highs in place for a bit, especially the fact that right now, both overnights hold the yearly high in ES and in NQ. Okay? So we're going to have to work through the noise of the daily before we get any real direction. What does that mean? It means just to trade the daily on an intraday basis on whatever the profile and MGI presents to us. We did that yesterday, and it worked out nicely. Now, again, they're trying to push higher, right? We have a wide, 17 wide POC right below where the base of the price probe was from Thursday, and then we gap down on Friday. Why is that important? Well, I think these levels, if you get the overnight high first, then that's a decent risk reward long on the pullback against the base of the price probe from Thursday and the wide overnight POC. Also, we probed yesterday in ES. So there's a bunch of things that the bulls could lean on. The worst scenario for the bulls would be to have all that taken back and get into value from yesterday. Okay, that's something the bulls don't want to see. They don't mind giving up the gap, but they like to preserve the base of the price probe and things of that nature, and then continue their upwards. Remember, the overnight high right now in the maintenance is your monthly high for August. I'm not going to ignore that in both ES and NQ. NQ also. I mean, again, this is a decent sized gap, but remember, right? It's 79 points. It's less than $2. We had a $5 gap from Friday. We took it back in one day, and we took it back without any single prints holding, which I thought would be nearly impossible. We did try to go trend 3 times in ES, but they failed, and NQ only once. We did ultimately fill that gap without holding trend. That's rare of a gap of that magnitude. Okay? So, righty, also, same scenario, right? They went from, they were down on Thursday. So Thursday, Friday, back to balance. Yesterday, now today, you can either call them up or use Thursday's high as your balance high. Again, it's all subjective what you want to do. Okay? So game plan early. Well, now yesterday, if you recall, I tried to front run the overnight high. It got it. I got out unscathed, and then I looked for nothing but longs after that. So again, if we start with gap value, I'm not so sure if indices would be in favor. Right now, they would not be. They're only up just under 0.4% in NQ and 1/4 in ES. So they would not be in anybody's favor at this juncture. But if you get the overnight high, it definitely gives you more confidence for longs on pullbacks against that level I talked about in ES. And Q, maybe it would be against overnight half back. We both have wide overnights that will be carried forward if we don't trade at them today. Okay? So that's early plays. If we don't get the overnight highs and pull back, you can still take those longs at these levels against the POCs, the overnight, but not with as much confidence as far as I'm concerned. Now, the overnight range is not large at all right now. It's less than $2 in ES, and NQ right now, 397 to 13 is 84 points, so it's a little over, it's exactly $2. So far, again, there's 90 minutes to go, but the overnight range is not that large. And then chart-wise, so the daily is back to a 2-day balance. Decent volume yesterday, 73 million. It was above average. So what's the big thing going to be? Your weekly, right? I'm calling this a 5-week balance right now. 6-week, including this week. All-time high is the top of it. The week of June 30th is the low of it. Which way eventually do we come out of that balance? Thank you so much for liking and subscribing to this channel. Good luck trading today. And we'll recap at 4 p.m.